welcome back to the end of another week. It's sunny, spring is definitely here. Francis mowed the grass, which means that I get to work on a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to bring y'all down here so we can check out my pretty flower. They are open. And then over the last couple of days, it's literally been like snowing seeds from this willow tree. I don't think you can see them, but they are all over the place. So down here, it's got these little, like, I think they're called caddils or something. But yeah, full of these little snowy seeds, and they are everywhere. So in the garden, since Francis cut the grass, I went ahead and refreshed the mulch on the grapevines. This one and that one, I think, are both dead, but I'm going to give them some time to decide for sure. And then the one way over there is coming back, and the one behind me is coming back. This area here, as you can see, with the very exception of like way over there, is all shade. And I'm actually in the process of ordering some containers that I'll be putting along here in another attempt to grow ginger. Apparently ginger actually does better in the shade, so we're going to try that this time. Last time I put them in the sun and they just died. Out in the yard, my wisteria is looking very pretty. And Francis actually came up with the idea because I was talking to him about the fact that this is wrapped around. And he said to go ahead and plant, like start a new one, which is fine because I've actually propagated one. So start a new one here, give it a couple of years to kind of start working up. And then as that one grows in, then I could decide to cut this one down. So I might do that because this is really pretty. And I do like the wisteria, and it's not going to grow fast enough for this to be a problem anytime soon. So I like the idea of putting a new wisteria there and then seeing what happens in a couple of years. I went ahead and did some pruning on my pomegranate again. So like over time, my idea is to like really thin it. So last prune, I cut all the lower lying branches. And then this prune, I really tried to thin out the canopy. So I'm done for a while, and we'll see kind of how that flushes in once the leaves come, but hopefully it won't be too bad. The plant, I forget the name of it, but that plant that his mother-in-law gave me, his mom gave me my mother-in-law, is doing okay. I kind of tried to remulch it, but something keeps digging it. And then this one is actually a plant that Francis gave me for our anniversary this year. It's a something snowbell, and it's supposed to have really fragrant white flowers and get to be about like a square meter. So my idea is that hopefully that will grow in okay, and then sort of from the house there'll be like a little white flowery bushy thing there, and then that grows really big. Actually, that's going to grow into a big hedge eventually. My little lavender is doing well. These pots I added the other week when I kind of redid this whole thing. So my plan is to put bulbs in those, and hopefully they do okay. Like these are the daffodils, but they're kind of really smushed in there. So once that dies back, I'll dig up a bunch of those and move those into these planters. What else? There's actually quite a bit. I bought myself some of these, well, I bought myself 10 of these cages, which are super cool. They're really thick and super like durable. And they fold flat and they completely open up flat. So right now they're going to support the gladiolas. So these are really, really pretty. But my physalis is starting to grow back, and that thing always goes like hog wild here. So last year I was trying the tomato stakes with like some of my diabetes tubing, because it's super sturdy. And that worked okay, but it still went crazy. So this year my plan is to let the gladiolas do their thing, and by the time they're done, the physalis will have started growing, and I'm actually going to cage this entire space off with these things so that it'll be confined to a cage. And the idea is that they can grow up and kind of over, and then I will be trimming those a lot more this year. I watched another YouTube person who was basically saying just let like 3 or 4 flowers on each stem grow to maturity and cut the rest off, to try to keep it in check. So I'm going to try that. I did not clean up the rocks, so I still have to do that. But I'm almost done with mulch because I have been working on other projects. We got the latch. Well, Francis did the latch for the gate, so now it actually opens the correct way. Woo. I'll probably come up with a better handle, but that definitely works. And then we were talking about doing like a secondary fence. However, I've decided to get and try a tall 80 centimeter like floor thing. I'll put a picture up so you at least kind of know what I'm talking about, since I can't really describe it. But that should be coming in, so I'll try to install that before next week and show you all how that works, if it works. I've remulched my hot lip sage. This one as well, because even though there isn't any green yet, I did actually kind of dig in, and it looks like this one's regrowing from the roots. I wasn't sure if this one survived the transplant. That one obviously did, because it stayed green, but this one like completely died back, and I wasn't sure if it was dead or not, but it does not appear to be dead. So fingers crossed that comes back. In the main garden, my rhubarb is looking amazing. It's got these like funny cauliflower things, which I've obviously found out are the flowers. I've never grown rhubarb, and my other ones have died, so they've never like lasted long enough to my other ones that I've tried growing here have died, and they haven't lasted long enough for me to actually try to harvest them. But so apparently young plants don't flower, so this one's mature enough that it wants to flower, and it's actually got stalks that I can harvest. So like, apparently it's not the color of the stalk that determines whether or not you harvest it. It's like the size and the length. So this one's pretty like thick. This one's pretty thick and long. The leaves are poisonous, so those will get composted. But yeah, my plan is to harvest 1, 2, and there's one more in the back. 3 stems or 3 leaves. And then I'll hack the flower off because I want it to focus on the roots and the leaves. So that's cool. I'm actually going to harvest that. And my plan, since I'm only going to have the 3 stalks, is to actually try to make a rhubarb liqueur, since I'm kind of really into making liqueurs. I got these cool cages. I've seen them around, but they've been pretty expensive, so I haven't bought them. But they're like wire trash cans, and I finally got a reasonable deal on them because I think they came in a set of 8 for like 18 euros. So a little over like $2 each. Anyway, I'm trying them to protect the perennial kale, some of which has died. Like this, the one that was here definitely died. The one that was there definitely died. So I'm kind of hit or miss on those right now, just because somebody keeps eating them. So we'll see how the cages work. I got more tubing. I got more hoses, soaker hoses. So I painstakingly weaved the soaker hoses through the onions. That was a disaster. But yeah, so I have soaker hoses all up through these two beds. I have a soaker hose for the asparagus that actually wraps around that other pot and then goes along the perennial kale. This one wraps in here, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna have extra to put in that pot. I might have to manually water that one. But I've also got soaker hoses set up in this pot, and then we had already done the other beds. This is my brassicas that I have so far. Not a lot, but yesterday I actually saw my first cabbage moth, which are those like white butterflies that fly around, and then they lay eggs on the cabbages, and then the caterpillars that come from those eggs decimate cabbages. So last year, most of my cabbages were decimated. So this year, I've at least got the netting on, which was a disaster to put up because it was super windy yesterday when I got it together. But yeah, it's okay. I ran out of clips, so I'm waiting for more clips to come. But I think it'll be great, and I mulched it. We did get an almost near freeze last night. I don't know if you can see it, but 0.7. So not quite a freeze, not even technically a frost, but cold. And I think that's probably it for any cold weather. It's getting really warm now. But yeah, here you can see the little, like the cloches that I was using before, and the rest of my little cages and my tomato things. And then I have all the spirals from last year. I did also dig up, like pull up a bunch of this Vinca minor and lay it along there. So we'll see what happens with that. And what else? Oh yeah, my big project. I mean, so I did mulch this, and I started doing some weeding because I think my next project is going to start removing this weed barrier and getting it like prepped and mulched. I'm not sure what I'm planting in there yet, but at least it'll be ready. But out in here, I've actually been working on my path since Francis mowed the lawn. So I've refreshed the mulch on some of the trees. And here you can see that I've been laying out the cardboard and working on my path. So this is going to be a long-term project. I don't quite know how it's going to evolve. But basically the main canopy is going to be all of our trees. And I am planning on trying to grow hardy kiwis along the fence line. So that gives like the little kiwi berries. So they're not those big fuzzy kiwis. They're like the small kiwi berries, and they're super, super tasty. So they do need a boy. So basically the boy is going to go in the middle of the orchard, and then there's going to be 2 female kiwis down on that end, and then 2 female kiwis up on this end. So a total of 5 kiwis along there. And this is also the space where I'm thinking about planting things like the comfrey, because that can like bring up nutrients for the trees, and then I can hack the comfrey down and actually use the comfrey to mulch the trees. But yeah, so that's happening. And other than that, I just have my seedlings here that I'm playing with. Well, my experiments are in the pots, and then my seedlings are in that green thing. But yeah, I think that's about it. Things to come. If I get more mulch, I will be working on finishing up the orchard, since I'm only about like less than halfway done. So that may or may not happen depending on whether or not I get the mulch. And even without the mulch, I think my plan is to work on this. So the idea is that I will go ahead and pull back the tarps that I've had down and clean up the dirt that's underneath, probably fork it a little for aeration. And then I'll start bringing that compost pile down so that I can lay some nicer compost on the top. And then I'll put straw over that. And then, like I say, it won't be planted, but at least it'll be ready to plant should I decide what I'm going to plant in here. Here, I do still have a tea tree under the mulch that'll kind of open up again. But I had my blueberries here, which all failed. So I'm thinking about trying honeyberries, which are like bigger versions of blueberries, and they don't need acidic soil. So I'm thinking about getting some of those and trying them in here. They do need pollinators, so I'm gonna have to kind of like figure out what varieties pollinate each other, so I get the right ones, and that way I get fruits, because that's the whole point. And we'll see. So this is probably going to be honeyberries. And I really want to grow some like raspberries and blackberries, but I don't want them to get super invasive. So I'm debating an idea of using, I have 3 more wine barrels down there. So I could use 2 of the wine barrels, cut them in half, and basically have like a barrel on each corner of this thing. And then potentially have like trellises from one barrel to another, where like I would have raspberries on one row and blackberries on another, and they would kind of create like fences. I just don't want them to get too tall, because ultimately we want to be able to put the greenhouse along this wall. So if things start growing too tall, then they're going to start blocking the sun. Of course, that being said, like I'm 5 feet, and if I'm standing here, like the sun's over there. So I guess maybe midday I should stand here and see how long my shadow goes, to decide whether or not that's a good idea. But yeah, chickens are still coming, pending the success of securing the door. This one is almost blooming. It's got like some pink, here, I'll show you. It's got some pink buds. So I don't know when they'll open up, but this is a really, really, really pretty plant when it's in bloom. So I'm looking forward to those. And yeah, I think that is it for this week. I will leave you with Mr. B. He says he likes the garden, but he's bored of me. He's completely deaf, so I can't even call him. And yeah, that's it for this week. I hope you had a good one. I'll see you next week. Bye.